There's something healing about Colorado's great outdoors.
Yeah, we're waiting. They don't even know. Oh no, we're turning.
And healing
We're so happy to have you at Camp Erin this year.
is just what these kids need.
I'm here for my dad, and he was killed by a drunk driver.
They each have something in common:
My name is Abby, and my dad died by suicide.
the loss of one of the most important people in their life.
My name is Hannah. I'm remembering my brother who died from cancer.
But for 3 days, they get the chance to share stories and bond with other young kids suffering the same heartbreak.
You're losing someone who was the second half of your heart, who took care of you and raised you and made you become the person you were.
It's a weekend of comfort, hope, and healing.
I know how much it hurts. I know how alone I felt.
A weekend at Grief Camp.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Hubbard, Fox 31 anchor and Grief Camp volunteer. About 3 years ago, I went to my first Camp Erin and my life was changed forever. It's a weekend summer camp for kids with a hole in their heart. A hole left there by a mom or dad, brother or sister who died long before they should have. Many from the kinds of tragedies we cover on the news. For kids, it can be a confusing time. It seems like there's no one they can relate to until they meet nearly 70 others, hoping for some healing, just like them. From the moment those minivans pull into the parking lot, there are jitters.
Hello. Welcome.
Not just those leaving mom and dad for a few days jitters.
What are you excited about most? You've gotten to see a bit of the grounds, right? Because you kind of walk around. Swimming? Okay, all right.
But the kind that nervous high fives and awkward dance moves can't disguise. For these kids, this is outside their comfort zone, and lately there hasn't been a whole lot of comfort in their lives to begin with.
We are having Camp Erin. Camp Erin is a free weekend camp for grieving kids ages 6 to 17. And we have, I believe, 68 campers up here. All have had just all kinds of different death losses.
Gabe is 9, lost his dad, died by suicide.
For camp volunteers, it is a weekend spent helping very little kids deal with a very grown-up reality.
Isaac lost his 8 years old, lost his father this year.
Work accident. 5 months
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Cabin buddy Kevin Thomas has gotten used to this. He's helped with 2 other Camp Erins in Connecticut.
I also had a lot of Sandy Hook victims. In fact, Camp Erin was started because of Sandy Hook in Connecticut.
In Connecticut, it was.
Yeah, so I had, I think, both years, 4 or 5 kids whose friends were killed at Sandy Hook.
I am hopeful that when your camper comes home to you, you will see some changes, a changed individual, a little movement in their grief maybe.
Every kid in this circle has a devastating connection.
My name is Rory, and I'm remembering my mom who died from drugs.
I'm Zoe, and I'm remembering my dad who died of a heart attack.
Wow, yeah, we've had some really tough ones. We have lots and lots of deaths by suicide. We have a girl here whose stepmom was murdered by her dad. Just some really, really hard death losses for these kiddos.
For just one weekend, the idea is for them to let loose, have some fun here in nature. But it's that nature part that actually scares one mom.
Yeah, definitely. Because our son died a year ago in a hiking accident. So to leave our other son here is rough, but at the same time, we don't want to hide him from the world, and we want him to have some healing. So I think it's important.
8-year-old Noah Reagan died at Hanging Lake near Glenwood Springs last summer, hit in the head by a falling rock. This picture with his little brother Ben was taken just about a half hour before the accident that killed Noah.
Wow, my parents were up there, and my dad and my mom she went up to the top of the waterfall and said to my dad, Noah's been in an accident. So my dad go check. They did CPR, but nothing happened.
As tragic as Ben's story is,
My mom passed away because of cancer.
there are dozens of other kids coping with devastating loss at Camp Erin this year.
I just wanted to say that my mom was a very good person, and she took very good care of me, and she was amazing, and I'm really sad that she's gone.
Each child's family death as poignant as the child next to them.
Hi, I'm Scott. I'm representing my dad here, who died of leukemia a little over a year ago. This is my second year here, and I just want to let you all know that it's a great camp, and you'll have a lot of fun.
The goal through different activities and exercises is to get the kids to open up, help them with the healing, give them coping skills.
I don't know what all of them are. So in the scavenger hike, they found different eggs, different shaped eggs. They had pandas and sharks and beach balls. And inside of each one, there was a little saying that said, "Sometimes I feel scared when I think I'm forgetting about my special person." So then we have the opportunity to talk about, have they ever felt that way? Or do they still feel that way?
How many you got?
8.
How many are you supposed to have?
8.
You got them all? And they don't match? They're all different?
Right here.
All right, man, I think you win.
I'm gonna put his name right on above under the purple, with purple since I sort of messed up there.
For kids like 11-year-old Brianna, whose father died when she was really young,
He never expressed his feelings, so basically my grandpa said it was by suicide.
this is the first chance to be around other kids who really know what she's going through.
It's a struggle. My mom and my sister have been doing a lot better than myself, but that's why I'm here, to get better.
Kids like 15-year-old Delaney, whose stepfather just died.
He passed away in January, and I guess I always told him I had a love for butterflies, and as soon as he passed away, I saw a ton of butterflies, and I knew that was a sign from him.
Counselors say even just 3 days in a setting like this,
I'm gonna decorate it like a 4-year-old.
learning how to process grief can really help.
The rates of kids who don't get help ending up in a bad place later in life are extremely high. So anything that we can do to help them process at a young age, I think, is valuable. So it gives them an opportunity to feel normalized and to be a part of something and not feel alone.
I decorated it with how I thought she was, and
Hard not to feel fulfilled by these little voices trying to make sense of the insensible.
it's me and my dad at the swimming pool in Glenwood Springs. I'm just waiting.
And when you're a kid like Gabe, how do you make sense of it when you can't even remember your dad? He died when Gabe was just 11 months old.
The thing about kids is that they'll go through a lot of developmental phases without the person that they're remembering. We have 6-year-olds that are just starting school without a parent. We have teens who will be graduating sometime soon without a parent or a loved one. When these kids go to their first prom or their first date, or they get their driver's license, or they get married, all of those times potentially they'll re-grieve.
All right, can we have everyone take a seat, please?
These kids will never get past what's happened to them, and they shouldn't. But this weekend, they'll figure out how to get support and how to truly honor, and most importantly, remember the loved ones they lost.
This is probably the most beautiful part of camp. It's really a very special, beautiful time to remember the people that we are all remembering this weekend.
This weekend,
I'm remembering my dad.
these kids
I'm remembering my mom.
will each know it's okay to cry,
I'm remembering my dad.
or it's okay not to cry.
I'm remembering my dad.
For the first time in a long time, it's all okay, because they're not alone. They've got each other.
He's out! He's out!
Camp Erin Denver is one of dozens of grief camps all around the country. The very first Camp Erin was a decade and a half ago in honor of this 17-year-old Washington State girl named Erin Metcalf. She died of cancer. Her wish was to help other children coping with a loss. A former Colorado Rockies pitcher met her, was moved by her, and helped her carry out her wish.
Jamie Moyer is going to get a big round of applause.
Jamie Moyer and child advocate Karen Phelps Moyer and their charity, the Moyer Foundation, started Camp Erin and now offer it in every Major League Baseball city and some other locations in the U.S. and Canada, too.
And it was intended to be a one-time event, program, and then after seeing the success and also just how needed this program was, Camp Erin expanded. And now we have 46 locations across the United States and in Canada.
And while it is the largest national bereavement program for kids, it is still summer camp.
Now you can.
Yes, these little kids are learning how to cope with death. But the ice cream parties and the laughs and the new friendships, well, that's just the cherry on top.
It's really hard. And I think one of the things that we do a good job at is we try to go back and forth between having fun and having activities that just let kids be kids, but then also bring it back and have grief activities and allow them to reflect. Even if it's just a little bit, it's still really important.
One activity that combines the fun and the reflection involves some ceramic tile and some pent-up emotion.
All right, so welcome to the Smash activity.
With markers, the kids decorate one tile with good memories.
Coloring my mom's favorite colors.
For 9-year-old Tristan, whose mom Jennifer died before he was even 2 years old.
She died in a car accident.
Those memories don't come easy, but their second tile does. On this one, they write their feelings.
My mad, my sad, my quiet, my scared, letting him go, all these things go now.
So some of our kids wrote things like anger or sadness. Those are things they wanted to let go of.
Come up here. What are you letting go of? Sadness? Aim right at that rock.
Perfect.
And we took it to a big wall where they got to let go of that emotion by physically throwing it at the wall, and the tiles would shatter.
Right? What are we going to let go of?
No!
Okay, feeling foggy. Okay, you're almost there. Let's try again. Maybe see one thing.
Throw it as hard as you can. Throw it!
Try again.
And once you've shattered those hurtful feelings, it's time to let loose even more.
We are having one of the greatest 80s throwback DJ parties here at Camp Erin 2018.
Hard to dwell on the pain when you're having a blast.
Yeah, it's been pretty heavy, so now it's time to just relax and dance and have fun.
After years of tears and loss, if anyone deserves to dance and go crazy, it's these kids.
It allows the kids to get a lot of their physical energy out, and it really sets up Saturday for a wonderful time for them to connect with one another after making bonds here tonight, and allowing them to express their grief with all the activities we have planned tomorrow.
When you're grieving, it is okay to laugh and have fun and enjoy yourself, even if it is just for one night. At Camp Erin Denver, it's not just the kids who are coping with grief.
Because this whole weekend's about having fun, being safe, but also doing activities that help us express kind of maybe things we didn't really feel or express in the past.
One of the things that makes this camp so unique is that so many grown-up volunteers have dealt with the same thing.
My mom died of cancer when I was a kid, and so I picked blue because I felt very alone.
So many of them lost a parent when they were kids too.
Yeah, I felt very alone.
Just you?
And do I still feel alone? Well, it's been a while, but when I was a kid, I felt very alone. And then I'll talk about the red. I was really angry because it didn't seem right that all of a sudden my mom got sick, and in like 4 months she was dead.
Even camp director Barb Camlett,
All right, campers.
a licensed professional counselor who specializes in grief and loss.
So I've heard that you all have some great skits to do for us.
Even she has recently felt firsthand how hard it is to cope with the loss of a loved one.
My brother Andy, who was very, very involved in this camp for the past couple years, died just 3 weeks ago, very suddenly, very tragically. So I'm definitely grieving him, missing him all over this campsite.
Her brother Andy Camlett was a board member of Shimmering Wings, the nonprofit that organizes Camp Erin Denver. A year ago, he was right here, helping the kids. Helping is what he was all about. In fact, he died in Puerto Rico while volunteering with a Denver church group. They'd gone there to help rebuild a home destroyed in Hurricane Maria.
This is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Awesome sparkling girls, sparkle through the world.
Barb knew it wouldn't be easy having grief camp less than a month after her brother died. But she also knew these kids needed this.
That was great. Thank you, guys.
Putting their own troubles aside for a weekend to help the kids is a priority for all the volunteers here, because so many of them wish they'd had a place like Camp Erin when they were kids.
I think that's why I want to be here, because I know how much it hurts. I know how alone I felt. You know, that's all we need. We don't need anyone to fill the void. We don't want anyone to make it better for us. We just want someone to be with us. And I think that that's what the camp's about. We're just there is to be with them.
Welcome families and campers to our pre-camp closing.
Camp Erin Denver 2018 has come to an end.
So, we've had quite a weekend.
Quite a life-changing weekend for the 68 grieving kids who came here.
We learned how to let go of unhappy feelings. We learned that it's okay to cry and not to cry.
And equally life-changing for the camp volunteers.
Blake gets the award for being one of the most positive and being able to make us laugh constantly. So thank you, Blake.
Who hand out last-minute awards to the children they will never forget.
And she truly, truly lights up my heart every time I see her. Thank you, Miss Emily.
Pretty much everyone here has known each other for less than 72 hours, but they've made bonds that will last a lifetime and learned so much about how to grieve the loss of one of the most important people in their life.
I'm not expecting to change their life in 3 days of camp, but if I can just nudge their grief in a little bit of a positive direction than where it was before the weekend started, then I feel like I've done my job.
All right, Ben, your turn. The stage is yours.
And remember Ben?
Ben has a wonderful smile, wonderful presence.
Whose brother died in a hiking accident last year. Was it a good weekend for him?
I think it was great. It was great. Our son's all charged up, and yeah. I can see that he's had a meaningful experience.
I think that's a huge part of the healing, is to say, I'm not alone. And so I'm glad that he could be around other kids like having that experience.
I think it's amazing this place exists, and I see in the other campers that they've had a meaningful experience. They've connected with each other, and it's just I don't know. It feels like there's a sacred quality to it, and we're just really fortunate that we could be involved in it.
And that is a feeling everyone gathered here can relate to.
I would love for everyone in this circle to look around and to know that each of you, parents, guardians, volunteers, campers, made this weekend so amazing for all of us. So thank you so much. Camp Erin Denver 2018 is officially closed.